Hello and welcome back to Lyre. So, we just got done with the talk in the throne room with Kadaj, Raynar, and Adrius, and we were about to go on a walk with Lyle. So, let's go ahead and get into it. We make our way a couple steps down the corridor before Lyle speaks.
He seems a bit eccentric.
I take a seat on one of the benches nearby and rest my head against the back of the wall. I like him. Lyle sits down next to me, lifting his tail so that he doesn't sit on it.
I don't know. I don't trust him.
He crosses his arms and looks at me.
He seems like a man with motives.
Is it because he's a cat?
No, it's not because he's a cat. That's a bit rude, you know.
He has an annoyed look on his face. I was only joking, but I'm sorry.
It's fine. I actually enjoy cats. They're good at making conversation.
As we talk, I notice two guards walking down the hallway with helmets under their shoulders. One is an eagle who looks to be in his late 30s, and the other is an old, large bear with a beard. They're wearing the same type of armor as Lyle. When they get close enough, the bear nudges the eagle, looking in Lyle's direction. He whispers something in the eagle's ear, which makes the eagle chuckle. They get closer, so I decide to stare at the wall and pretend I'm lost in thought. I'd like to avoid drawing any attention. Lyle watches them as they pass.
Gentlemen?
Captain! They both say this in unison, one a bit more begrudgingly than the other. Lyle gives a nod, and they both continue moving down the hallway. I wonder what that was all about. It seemed very forced.
As I was saying.
He bends over, resting an elbow on his knee, and begins to speak in a more hushed voice.
You can't just blindly put your trust into people like him.
I know that. I never said that I trusted him. I just think he seems nice. And what do you mean by that?
By what?
People like him?
It's not like that. I meant ambassadors and diplomats.
I give him plenty of time to let those words settle in before talking. Lyle, I'm an ambassador.
Yeah, but I mean you're not... You don't... I trust you, though. And somehow, I know you won't make me regret it.
I'm taken aback by this, and I can't think of what to say at first. Lyle, Thank you for putting your trust in me. I'm just here to help. I won't let you down. He stands up and looks down at me.
I know.
I get up too, and carry on with walking down the hallways. Lyle catches up to me and matches his pace with mine.
Hey, I want to show you something really cool.
What is it?
You'll see. Follow me.
I want to dispute this at first, but I shrug my shoulders and follow him down the halls. We stroll down a corridor overlooking a courtyard, and up ahead there's an exit that leads outside. Lyle picks up his pace, practically speed walking. He reaches the archway and turns around, standing there waiting for me to catch up. I reach the opening and look outside.
Pretty, huh?
The cold fall wind lightly whips my face, and I'm found staring at a beautiful garden. Smooth round stones and berry bushes line the dirt path. Each berry is red and shining, almost as big as cherry tomatoes. The entire garden is surrounded by stone walls and large, thick trees. This place feels more natural than most gardens, like a serene sanctuary. Birds chirp, and wind blows through the trees, causing leaves to dance to the ground. Toward the center is a pond with a fruit tree. The fruit tree has round, pink fruit growing on it. Some of the fruit has fallen to the ground next to the pond and at the base of the tree. The pond has a strange green glow to it, as if there are lights at the bottom. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh, wow.
Welcome to my favorite place in the kingdom.
It's beautiful out here. It's also a really nice day.
The weather usually fares better this time of day.
He's right. The cold isn't that bad with the sunlight basking on my skin. I guess I should enjoy moments like this before the weather becomes too unbearable.
Oh, here!
He walks over to one of the berry bushes and he plucks one of them.
Try one of these.
Oh, I take the berry and put it in my mouth. I take a bite out of it and it instantly bursts with flavor in my mouth. It's not necessarily the best taste, but it feels good. The berry was cold, which is good because I like cold fruit. That was pretty good. A smile breaks out on his face as he pops a berry in his mouth.
Yeah, they're really good. Raynor absolutely loves them.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes he'll take walks through the gardens and pick berries to bring up to his room in a basket. They grow really fast, so we always have plenty. Also, all the fruit in the garden is unaffected by winter, so we don't really have to worry about them.
That's actually really cool. Now that he mentions it, I was wondering why the fruit was still on its trees. Especially since it snowed a couple times while I was here. Of course, it wasn't enough snow to be bad. It snows much more up in the mountains. Thinking about the snow and the mountains causes me to think of the avalanche. I try to push it out of my mind, but a horrible feeling begins to overwhelm me.
What's wrong?
It's nothing. My mind has just been racing lately. I don't know. Sometimes I'll catch myself talking to people, but not even paying attention to what I'm saying or what the other person is saying. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, sometimes. But that's not what's bothering you, is it?
How could you tell?
I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm good at being able to tell when someone's lying.
Is that why you don't like Kadaj?
Well, I guess. The problem with him, though, is that I couldn't tell whether he was lying or telling the truth. And in my opinion, that's worse. Now stop changing the subject. What's wrong?
I clasp my hands together in front of me and continue to walk down the path at a slow pace. My thoughts have been going to dark places recently. I've been trying to push them out, but they keep resurfacing.
What are these thoughts about?
Well, so much has happened recently. A lot of it happened when I was out, so it feels like it's happening too fast. By the time I had woken up after being knocked out for so long, the survivors had already left for Urn. I don't even know who died. Did I know them? Then my mind starts racing with more thoughts of what happened. I've never really been bothered by something like this before. I fiddle with one of the buttons on my vest as we walk. I don't know why, but death has never really bothered me that much. Sometimes I feel like I'm forcing myself to act shocked or sad. Growing up, people close to me or people I knew would die all the time. I guess that I'm just numb to it? Or I was. This time it's different. With each passing day, the guilt gets worse and worse, and I take a moment to catch my breath. I just miss home, I guess. As childish as that sounds. I throw one of the berries to the side of the path in anger.
That's not childish.
Yes, it is. I know he's right, but I just feel so stupid right now.
It's completely normal to be homesick. Do you have any family? A wife?
Oh boy. No, I'm not married.
Really? I figured you would be one of the most desirable bachelors in your kingdom.
I try with all my might not to get too flustered by this comment. Yes, well, if only I desired them as much as they desired me. We keep walking for a moment before he finally takes the hint.
Oh! Oh! I had no idea. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I never would have guessed.
He puts a paw on my shoulder, smiling. Yeah, most people don't. I want to change the subject, but he beats me to it.
You might not like to hear this, because it's often the phrase most people use, but they're in a better place now. That was a tragic accident, and you shouldn't blame yourself for it.
I don't blame myself for it. It just terrifies me thinking about it. Death has always been a pretty confusing subject for me. I mean, growing up to be taught to feel a certain way about something, and then after a while I'd become numb to those feelings. And then when those feelings really do take over, my entire mind just shuts down. Do you know what I mean?
I can kind of understand.
He runs a paw through his neck fluff again. Thanks for listening. I'd rather not talk about it anymore. We step off the path and stroll over to the pond underneath the fruit tree. I sit down in the grass and Lyle walks up to the tree. He picks 2 ripe fruits from the branches and walks back over to where I'm sitting. He throws me a fruit, which I catch clumsily. Its skin is a bit tough, and the hole where the stem was is dripping with a sticky substance. It's gotten all over my right hand, but I ignore it. He takes a seat on the tree stump in front of me with an understanding smile on his face.
Renar can keep his weird chair. This is my throne.
He takes a large bite out of the bottom of the fruit, getting juice all over his mouth in the process.
So,
Yes?
you prefer the company of men?
Oh, so that's what you got out of this little chat we just had? I jab at his leg with my foot.
Hey, you were the one that said you didn't want to talk about the avalanche anymore. And can you blame me for being curious?
I fold my hands on my lap and look down at the pond water. I guess I can't. Sorry, I usually have a habit of dropping that information like a bomb. I'm not too open about it, but I also don't try to hide it.
And you most likely won't have to. Most people in Lyre are perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know. I just never really been interested in women.
Neither have I.
He shuffles his feet on the ground and looks at the fruit in his paws. Wait, really?
Yeah. I mean, growing up I thought I liked girls. But as I got a bit older, I realized that I didn't.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I can't believe this is happening. I'm really happy to hear this, but also super nervous. Does he think that I'm trying to make a move on him? Is he making a move on me? My mind spirals out of control for a brief moment.
It's been a problem for me in the past, but it doesn't bother me that much anymore.
Yeah, I try not to let it bother me either. There's a long pause. It seems like the both of us don't know whether to continue on this topic or change the subject. I hold up my fruit that he gave me. What is this?
Oh, that's a dragon apricot. They're really sweet, and they have a lot of juice.
Yeah, I can tell. I point to his muzzle, which confuses him for a second. He goes to lick it off, but completely misses. He then sticks his tongue out at me.
They turn their tongue orange.
I chuckle at his silly display, and he laughs too. He's right, they do turn your tongue orange. I take a bite into mine, and my mouth bursts with flavor. I don't really enjoy the texture that much, but its pros outweigh the cons. This is really good.
Yeah, just watch out for the seed in the middle.
I look down and sure enough there's a seed exposed for my bite. We continue to eat and talk as the sun slowly sets over the mountains. After a while, we head inside the castle and make our way back to my room. I have a question.
Ask away.
Why aren't you wearing your armor?
Oh, today is my 23rd birthday. I get the day off.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because it's not really that important to me. And I wanted to spend the day with you without it being too extra.
I wouldn't have spent all morning doing work if I knew it was your birthday.
Owen, honestly, it's fine. I enjoyed being able to relax. Plus, that armor is a real pain in the shoulders.
He rolls his shoulders back and smiles. Getting on the topic of Lyle's armor causes me to remember those guards we saw outside the throne room. Hey, Lyle?
Yes, Owen?
Do you remember those two guards whispering about us in the hallway? He takes a moment to answer.
Yes?
What do you think they were talking about?
Owen, I think they were talking about me. They think that I'm your lackey.
He looks down at the ground with a frown. But you're not. You were just assigned to be my guard.
It's a bit confusing, though, don't you think? The captain of the royal guard was assigned to guard an ambassador when he should be guarding the king. Raynar appointed me as captain for certain reasons that he feels he doesn't have to justify. And the other guards are confused by it.
Well, what do you think? He picks a leaf off one of the vines and examines it.
I trust our king's judgment. He's very wise and has plenty of experience. I believe that he chose me for a reason. My ability to command, my mentality, my youth, whatever it may be. And he assigned me to you because, well, I don't know. But there are other guards with much more experience who can protect the king and the prince. And I like being your guard.
He looks down at me with a smile. I like it too. We arrive at the door to my room and Lyle opens it.
Owen?
Yes?
I know that you're pretty open about it, but I won't tell anyone about what we talked about earlier.
Oh, thanks. I don't really care if you do, though.
Okay, just, can you promise me something?
Sure.
Please don't tell anyone about what I said.
Of course.
Thank you.
I step inside and lean against the doorway. Good night, Lyle.
Good night.
He takes off down the hall at a slow pace. As he walks down the hall, I hear him yell back to me.
Don't forget to lock the door.
I know. I yell back at him. Happy birthday! He turns around, his ears red, giving me a shy smile.
Thanks.
He walks off with his tail wagging. I close the door behind me, lock it, and take off my clothes. The blankets on my bed are nice and warm due to the natural heat. I slowly drift off to sleep, thinking about Lyle. Chapter 4, Day 18. So let's go ahead and save there. That's a nice save point. Got a cute little date with Lyle. And yeah, everybody have a nice day.